Not bought anything. They're like, I'm seeing you at the show. I go, that's fantastic. All right, let me fix my belt. I went to the potty. I didn't poop. I will, but I didn't.
Remember that time you didn't wash your hands and some guy called you out?
Well, here's the story. When you've done, I'm trying to remember this, but this is a true story. I was at the Super Bowl one year, and I went to the potty, and just to wash my hands. I did, so I didn't potty or anything. And I walked, and Aaron Rodgers was in the bathroom, Peyton Manning, I forget who else, said hi to him, it's when I had a sports show. And then I went out and I was doing some stuff, and I looked at my Twitter feed, and somebody had tweeted, Tom Arnold doesn't wash his hands in the bathroom. And I came back in there, listen, fuckers, I don't know who tweeted that shit, but I did wash, I didn't pee or anything, guys. Like, you could murder someone in show business, it's fine. But if you don't wash your fucking hands after you go to the bathroom, you're done. I go, which one of you assholes tweeted? You gotta retweet. I'm gonna wash my hands in front of everybody here and retweet. One thing that's funny is when you've done scenes in movies in the bathroom, the people remember, like I had a scene from Austin Powers, that when you walk into the bathroom, you're sort of aware, and sometimes people look at you, they quote your lines, that Carrie's boss or whatever. I'm sure you're hyper aware of stuff like that if it's you. But I try to have get in there and get out. That's my thing. When you're older, it's important to know where the potty is. I'm going to tell you, my kids are 10 and 7 on the single dad. That's why I have these. By the way, I forgot to take my daughter. It was the first week of school last week, and we agreed to do this. And when I was driving down here, by the way, it's a 2-hour drive from Sherwood Oaks down here today. Is that crazy? Yeah, it's fucking Joe Biden and that goddamn infrastructure belly band. Now they're fixing the fucking roads. That's a pain in the ass, isn't it? Anyway, so we get down here, and I went, oh shit, I forgot to take something. And I thought, well, I'm in a fucking room full of freaks. Nobody's gonna give a shit that I got there. Other places they might notice it, but here, I mean, it's if they had a murder here, a real murder, they would have so many suspects right here walking around. I think it was the guy with the axe over there, maybe, or the guy with the sword. I've seen some real swords here, like people have decided like they were real. They're like, don't say anything, I got this. Or you see guys dressed like army guys or something with the guns and stuff, and you wonder how does that, But they usually don't murder people. They don't. Do you guys like these? Are you guys? How many people are working here today? Okay. Yeah. How great was today? You know what they always say when you have a shitty Friday? Saturday is the day. And then you come in Saturday and they go, okay, actually Sunday is the day. When these guys get out of church, because there's a lot of Christian towns that are like, nobody's going to come until 1 o'clock. And then they get out, and then it's going to be swapped. But I feel like you got to like doing this. You got to like talking to people. You got to find it to be interesting. I've done like one horror movie, and I'm here at The Walking Dead horror thing. But people, Sasha, I tell her, that part on that show, like there's people signing with a huge line, signing autographs that did one part on one show, right? I'm so mad. I've done 150 movies, 4 good ones. And I tell you, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the people, the camaraderie. Sasha's she's a little filmmaker too. This is a group together. They make horror films and different things. She travels all over the country. But this is a group of people, man. People are in here doing, and they used to, people come up to me and go, hey, I don't know, I think, would you please consider doing a little part in our movie? And I'm like, oh, I root for you guys, I'll watch it. And then after my 4th divorce, I'm like, yeah, I'll do whatever. Pay me in advance, I'll show up. And I have done a few. And here's what happens. I either work 1 day or 3 days, depending on what we work out. Now, one day, they'll try to film a whole movie with me. Like, you'll get there and I go, here's 60 pages. I go, that's, and then we'll get to the 12 hours, which I will work, But about 15 minutes before that, I'm like, you have to kill me in the next scene. You have to rewrite. They do. They're like, okay, we were hoping to make it at the end. Who will kill you right now? Okay, everybody, change everything. And I was telling somebody that these folks, they do fun crowd raising, or what do you call it, where you raise money to finance your little movies. And I was in, there's these guys the Mahal brothers. Their names are Sonny and, who are the two Corleone brothers? Sonny and, who's Al Pacino? What was his character? Anyway, Michael and Sonny. It seems like they'd be criminals. They're actually kind of nice. And we filmed in Vegas, and I was the mayor of Vegas, because, that seems like an easy part. And there was a crowd seat, and everybody in the crowd had a line. And I thought, well, that's interesting. They don't seem like actors, I thought. As I was talking to a guy, he's like, no, we finance the movie, and so we get to say a line. And that's righteous. And then I started talking to this older woman, and this group of people are like deadheads, They travel around, they hear about a movie going on, they put a little money, and they go all over North America together doing this. It's a pretty good thing they got going. So I wish you guys luck. I also, when I started the business 40 fucking years ago, there was 3 television networks. There was no phones. There was no way to make a little movie yourself. You had to move to Hollywood or New York. And now you kids, you make your own movies wherever you are. And so I wish people luck. I recommend, make a short film wherever you are. Get your buddies together, do the best you can, edit. That's your calling card, You don't need an agent, man. You just do that yourself. So that's my advice. I'm going to tell some Hollywood stories. Is there a mic stand? No? Okay. Well, that figures. Bill. You paid for the mic, not the fucking mic stand. Okay, thank you, buddy. Okay. By the way, there's a Metallica concert, next door. That's why the traffic is so, who wouldn't want to be there? Let's be honest. Except for SoFi, it's a clusterfuck over there. My kid went to the Taylor Swift thing. Taylor Swift's a huge star, can you believe it? And my kid, since I'm older, I get it based on like, hey, are you listening to Taylor Dane? And he's like, it's Taylor Swift. And I go, I know, but Taylor Dane was a big star in my generation. So the kids will second straight. I'm going to tell a couple stories, from movies that I'm selling the pictures of. Let me think. I'm going to tell this first one. The movie 9 Months. Okay. Now, when I worked at the kill floor of a meatpacking plant, which I did for 3 years after high school, to save money, because I knew if I had enough money, I could go to the University of Iowa. They had a student union with stage. And I knew, I'm going to go to that stage, and I'll be on David Letterman in 4 weeks. And then, of course, it took like 10 years. But when you work at a meatpacking plant, especially on the kill floor, anybody done that job? Doing this with nobody here is the best job you ever had to work on the kill floor. And, you got to make your own fun. And I'd be chiseling heads or boning hams or whatever I did there at Hormel. And you daydream, man. You daydream. I had daydreams that I'm, best friends with Robin Williams, is when Mork and Mindy was on. And I'm in a tumble. When I get home, and I'm like, what the fuck is, you got to quit having these dreams, because they are so disappointing, right? Yeah, I will never meet Robin Williams. And they cut to 10 years later, I'm doing this movie called 9 Months. And I'm at Robin Williams' house. And I'm sitting there the night before we start the movie with all the other actors, Hugh Grant and Julianne Moore and Jeff Goldblum and the great Jodie Cusack. And Robin's having a dinner. He lives in San Francisco, he did. And then at the end of the dinner, it's just Rob Williams and I. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I've been here before. And he's like, you've been in my house? I go, no, meet you, best friends. He's like, we're not best friends. I know, but it's so close to what I dream. And, but I love that guy, man. Everything good you ever heard about Rob Williams is true and more. And if I called him at 3 in the morning and said, so-and-so's in trouble, whether you knew him or not, he'd be like, let's go get him. So that's who he was. Really great guy. But Hugh Grant and I became best friends in real life. Best friends. Like, we went out we filmed 5 months up there. Hugh Grant and I, it seems odd, Perry, because he's a British guy and I'm Tom Arnold, but we were best friends. And I'd done True Lies, so things were kind of going well. And he'd done 4 weddings and a funeral, and then we're doing this movie with Rob Williams, it's the best. And so we went out every night, we're fucking, all the best friend stuff. High five a lot. I love you, man. Hugs. You know what I mean? Best friends. And about halfway through the movie, Madonna came to town. You know Madonna, she's fucking awesome. She came to town, and put on a private concert for her new album, they used to call it. And it was in a room about a third of the size of this room. And she invited Hugh Grant and I to be her special guests. She invited Hugh Grant and I drove, but now it sounds better. So we went to watch Madonna, and she was amazing, right? And then she invited us backstage. You guys want to come backstage? We're like, you fucking right, we want to come backstage. We're going backstage with Madonna. Holy shit. So we go backstage, and Hugh Grant and Madonna, instant chemistry. Man, they are all over each other. It was like that. And she's like, would you gentlemen like to go to hang out in my suite? We're like, yes, Madonna, we would fucking love to go hang out in your suite. And then Hugh and I get in the elevator, and I go, wait. I swear to God, my feelings will not be hurt if I get into a cab right now and go back to the hotel by myself. And he's like, Tom, do you or do you not want to see me fuck Madonna? I go, well, of course I want to see Madonna. But I didn't want to be a weirdo about it. He says, stick around, mate. In about 10 minutes, I'll be fucking Madonna. So we go up there to the suite, and it's the biggest suite I've ever seen. It's huge, beautiful. And she's like, gentlemen, make yourselves at home. I'm going to go into that room and freshen up. And then we're standing and we're just, taking it all in, man. We are loving it, making ourselves at home. Hugh Grant grabs a bottle of $200 champagne and fucking chugs it. And there's a giant white sheet cake there. And I go over there and I cut the quarter piece with the most frosting, and we start eating that like we're living the dream, sitting there. And then all of a sudden he's like, 3 o'clock. Do you see what I see? I go, yeah, that's Madonna's Louis Vuitton luggage. He's like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? I go, yeah, let's steal some shit out of there. So we go over there, and we're filling up a pot, and it's so happy we're taking some. And all of a sudden behind us, I hear, what are you assholes doing? And I turn around, and she's like, holy shit, are you eating my brother's birthday cake? We're going to surprise him with that. I go, don't you worry about it. I'm going to put this piece back and do a little thing, and nobody'll know. And she goes, get the fuck out of here. You guys, you're idiots. And I go, no, I'm an idiot. You can still have sex with Hugh Grant. And she said, get the fuck out of here. And so she runs us to the, you can check this story out too, there. Google me. She runs us to the door, to the wall, and slams the door, and we're in the hall. And I'm like, God damn it. I'm so sorry, Hugh. Now you know we're gonna fuck Madonna. And he's like, hey, everybody fucks Madonna. But we stole her fucking spoons, dude. It's a much better story. Madonna's great. She's great. She's amazing. She's a year older than me. I like people that are kicking ass that are a little older than me. There's a couple people. They look way better than me too. But and so the last day of a movie, you do something called a press junket, and you get a hotel like this, and you get the whole floor, and each actor has their own room, and 100 press people will come by, and they'll go room to room to room, and basically ask you the same questions over and over. It's not their fault. We're promoting the movie. But you gotta make your own fun of those deals too. So, and by the way, Hugh Grant is hilarious. Did I tell you that? It seems like it would hilarious. I'm doing an interview with Entertainment Tonight, which you can Google because of what it turned out. And Hugh Grant, to be funny, walks in the middle of my interview in front of camera and goes, hey Tom, are you getting a hooker tonight? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? I don't get hookers. I'm married, I think. What do you get hookers? No, Tom, you get hookers. I go, I don't get, you get hookers. And the producer from Entertainment Tonight is like, relax, boys. We will never use that portion of the tape unless one of you gets arrested with a hooker tonight. And what are the odds of that happening? Pretty fucking good, the odds of that happening. And so we went to have a kind of a goodbye dinner with all the actors that you do, and everybody's there. And I say to Hugh Grant, hey man, I gotta go to Toronto for 48 hours, but there's a Dodger game Tuesday. I know you're staying on in LA, so let's keep this thing going, man. And he's like, our movie is over, Tom. I go, I know our movie's over, but we should still, we don't have to go to a game. We can just hang out. And he's like, oh my God, Tom, did you think we were friends? He goes, don't be offended. Don't be offended, babe. We're show business friends. You can't be friends with everybody you do a movie with. We're vagabonds. I'll see you in a year and I'll give you a hug. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't hurt. It's hurtful. But I didn't know the rules of show business. I learned as I go. That's the rule of show business. So I fly up to Toronto. I land there at 6 a.m. Toronto. I get an emergency phone call from my publicist. She's like, oh my God, did did you hear what happened to Hugh Grant last night? I'm like, holy fuck, did he die? She's like, worse. Much worse. He was arrested with a prostitute. And I'm like, holy shit. And I know you, we're best friends, so I'm like, man or woman? And, because he's British, you really can't tell. I'm going to tell you right fucking now. There's a lot of gray area with those fuckers, And just then, Hugh Grant beeps into my phone, and I pick up, you're like, buddy, where the fuck are you? Holy shit, they won't believe what happened last night. I just got out of jail, babe. Oh, fuck, where are you? We gotta get together and think of a line and tell Elizabeth. And I'm like, did you think we were friends? Because we're really show business. He's nice. That's true, though. I'll tell you another thing you can Google, because the police are involved. By the way, I have 4 ex-wives, and people know of Roseanne. And they go, I bet she was the worst. She wasn't the worst. I tell you right now. I have, and Sasha knows this. When you get divorced with a person, and it's a basic thing. You separate the money, you get divorced, whatever. People get their feelings hurt. They sometimes say shitty things to each other, their feelings are hurt, and then you move on. And but if you get divorced with kids, holy shit, man, that's a hell of a deal. Because if they're not a great person, they're like, oh, I know how to fuck with him. Anyway, so I am a single dad, but I have been in, and the reason, I'm also broke. My kids are like, why don't we live in Beverly Hills anymore? I go, because we're poor, okay? They go, why don't we have a Lambo? I go, I could have had a Lambo 6 years ago, but I got you guys. Like, it's expensive, custody to court, but it's worth it. And I love being a dad. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, because I always said I want to be a dad. It's a good thing I'm a dad, because it's on, man. It's on, and I've done a lot of fun stuff in my life before. I've done all the partying and I've done fun stuff in our business, but man, once you have the kids, that's about them. And I love it. Their mom, on the other hand, has swatted us. You know what swatting is? It's what we call the police. Like several times. Like she's broken into my house and called the police. And it said, this is my house. This is long after we broke. And it doesn't always in front of the kids. It's all fucking up. Sasha knows. She's been quarterly. Made the videos. I have 21 cameras in my house and outside. And people are like, yeah, they cried, but I'm like, no. They're for one person. Because when the cops come, they go, well, she said that you did what or said this. And I said, what? She said that happened in the kitchen? Okay, what time? Okay, Sasha, cut the film. And then they watch what really happened, and then they take her out of the house, But she'll do it again, Poor cops. And I feel for them having it. And then she'll say, he's got a lot of guns that he's fighting with. They can come in hot, right? I'm like, I don't have any guns. I had to get rid of my guns after that. They were hid somewhere. But I also have a 10-year-old boy. And, I used to be a 10-year-old boy. And my dad, before he left work, I was a single dad too. And he'd say to me and my 4 younger brothers, hey, stay the fuck away from my gun. And it was locked up in a locker over here. And the second he drove off, we tried to break into that thing, the safe. Me and my 4 brothers. So one day we got in there. We had like an old Korean War rifle, And then we went over to this safe and got the cartridge out. And I immediately took it and went right out the street and started firing. Because I couldn't control myself because I was a 10-year-old boy. And then my dad sees his car coming, and I'm like, holy shit, we're going to get this shit knocked out of the safe. Just working the neighbors calling. But I do that. And the difference between my daughter and my son, this is maybe not all boys and girls, but if I say, hey, that stove's hot, my daughter will go, okay, Daddy. If I say that, hey, that stove's hot to my son, he's like, is it? And he does that with knife. He took a knife, fish knives, fillet things, those are sharp knives. I worked in a meat packing plant, I grew up on a farm, I know it's sharp. And he always wants to have the knives. And Sasha will tell you, the knives disappear out of I'll get a bent one back where he's trying to saw a tree down or something. But I said, hey, that knife is the sharpest knife that I've ever had in this house. Do not hurt yourself with that knife. And he takes the knife, and he holds out his hand like this, and goes, right across his face. He just couldn't control it, And so you have to childproof your house, which is fucked up if you're older, because it was more important when they were babies. But now, to the child, they do the socket thing, and you got that thing over it. You can't plug it in. I forgot how to do it. And the fridge and the cabinets have those locks on them. And now, because I'm older, we take them off. And the kids know how to, my son also knows everything, where everything is in the house. He'd be like, I was opening a box the other day, he's like, Daddy, you need a box cutter? I go, dude, yeah, I don't have a box cutter. He goes, yeah, you do. I bought one for Father's Day. I go, where is it? It's in my drawer. Oh, well, that seems dangerous, but I do need it, so thank you. And then my kids do something I used to do when I was younger. My dad, I'd say, Daddy, can I get some money to go to the store, get some candy? And he's like, I don't have anybody. He pulled his pockets out, so we had to work in the fields or whatever. And I do that with my kids, because I really don't have. And they'll pull pockets. I don't have any money, sorry, son. He's like, actually, you do. You have $58 in a pair of pants that are hanging in your closet there. Like, he keeps the inventory. And at first it pissed me off, but then now I lose, as I get older, you lose shit. Those cameras are handy too. Do we lose stuff all the time and go, okay, we got a bunch of cameras? I do. I put a post-it on my mirror every morning that says, look at the post-it on your computer. And then I go in there and it tells me what's going on. Like, it's handy. And we solve the fights with my kids. I'll go, he started. I go, sit down, we're going to watch the film. We have like a people's court thing. And it's also good for me because, my son will say, you yell at me. I go, I didn't yell. And let's watch it. And you do realize that how much bigger you are than your kids. And when you do get mad, it's like a little terrifying. But so you try to be a better parent, You try to do those things. So I love it. My kids have seen a lot of shit, but they're doing, knock on wood, remarkably well. My daughter was one. My daughter has ever, and I'll tell you how I got my son. And I bless all four of my wives for this, because I always wanted a family. When you have a family growing up that's sketchy. By the way, my sister, I'm not the only famous person in the Arnold family, and some of you may know this. My sister, there's a documentary series about her called The Queen of Meth. She was the biggest drug dealer in America. And people were always like, wow, was it embarrassing having your sister be a drug dealer? And I'm like, not when I was doing drugs, it wasn't embarrassing. It was fucking handy. And she'd come over, and she had this big leather purse with her gun and her drugs in. And by then, there's 6 other kids. We're sitting at the table for Thanksgiving, and she kind of motions out towards the garage, and we all get up, go out in the garage, get in a circle, and she'd open her purse and say, what do you want? And I'd say, well, what do you got? And she's like, everything. And I'd say, that's what I want. I want everything. So anyway, I eventually got sober. She went to prison twice. Had 2 husbands die in prison. It's funny because my crazy mom, she decided to move with my crazy mom. I moved in at 15 with our crazy mom because I knew I wanted to do drugs and drink and grow my hair. And I knew there was no rules there. She would do it with you. And then my sister moved in. I think my sister sort of idolized her. Like, she would show up at Dad's house all fucked up and knock over the Christmas tree or the Hanukkah stuff. And my dad would just laugh. Yeah, you got a kid. And so my sister's thinking, oh, she's the shit, I knew better. But my sister's like, she's the shit. She is my hero. And that's why I take a minute, I recommend this with the kids. If something completely inappropriate happens in front of your kids, don't just, I know that you want to go, I want to take the higher ground of this. I don't want to put the kids in, but take a minute and go, hey, what just happened was not okay. Something their mom is. I don't treat people like that. I don't want people to treat you like that. And then we move on. Because it's hurtful to kids. But my dad never did that. It's one of the few mistakes. So my sister at 14 moves into my mom. And my sister was suddenly dating a 22-year-old guy, which makes him a pedophile. He was dating a 12-year-old too, so they had her, she was fighting for him. And my mom said, hey, I'll give you 3 choices. You can either break up with him, which you're 14, you're like, fuck that, I'm in love with this guy. Or I'm gonna have him arrested. You're like, I don't want to have her. Or I'm gonna drive you to Missouri and you can marry him. And my sister's like, let's do that. And so they all got drunk and drove to Missouri. And then my mom came back home, she was wasted. I go, where's Lori? Well, she's with Bob. I go, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's bad. So my sister had been, and I used to feel for her like these men in her life. Her ex-husband was the president of the Grim Reapers motorcycle gang, which we call the Grimy Raper motorcycle gang. But he was older, and he was really tough. weird guy. And I used to blame him for the drug empire. And then, because what she did was, she goes, okay, I'm doing drugs. What if I sold drugs? So she was a smart kid. You know what, if I'm gonna sell drugs, I'm gonna be the best there is. And then she got this guy was a badass, and his friends were all badasses, to be her drug runners. Like, they'd get on their motorcycles and drive to LA or Mexico border and get shit. And I came over once, and the Floyd, his name, Floyd Stockwell, he was like sad clowning. I go, what's going on? He's packing a briefcase full of money. He goes, well, your sister made me go to Vegas and pay off this judge. And I felt, then I kind of thought, well, maybe it's her. Then he dies in prison while she's in prison. He gets like life sentence. And then she gets out, starts working at the meatpacking plant where I worked. I thought, that's a good job, you're gonna do it. The DA guys who, in the documentary series, the guy's really cool, because you tell he liked my sister, but they had to, it was a complicated bust because our seventh stepdad was the chief of police, and he worked for my sister. So all the tough cops worked for her at her farm, where she had this underground lab. Because eventually she's like, I'm not driving out to the coast. I'm gonna make my own shit. I'll get a scientist in here. Anyway, so she gets out of jail, and I think I'm gonna help her. I helped her the first time in court. I made sure she'd get a life sentence. I got her a good lawyer. I got her to go to the Martha Stewart prison in West Virginia, which is like a prison camp. It's fucking nice, man. And if you ever want to feel appreciated as a man, go speak in a women's prison. Because they're like, oh yeah, this guy, you're sucking up all the good vibes. And, but this time she gets out, she does the same job I did in Hormel. And then I get a call, she quit her job, and she was drinking, okay? And then the DA guy calls and goes, she's dealing with that. But if she stops right now, we're not gonna bust her again. And so I flew home and got my 6 brothers and sisters and my dad. I said, we're doing a photo shoot. Because I at least wanted to have a picture of her before she went away. And we take it, and I'll tell you how potent these drugs are. I admit that I'm an addict alcoholic. I have to do that every day. But my sister's going, I'm not an addict. I'm a fucking dealer. But we walk out of that photo studio, and I say to Lori, they know you're dealing. I talked to the DEA guy and the sheriff. They know you're dealing, but if you stop right now, they're not going to bust you. And she's like, mind your own fucking business. And then she just, the next week, went to prison for 10 years again. So I waited a while to visit her. But I did, it was a real prison this time. It was still fucking around. But I did, I said, why don't you write a book? Just trying to keep her. And she wrote the book, which became this series. So she's actually doing better in show business than I am. But the second husband she met when she got out, he died in prison too. And I was like, oh, that guy was a nice fucking dude. And now she's going to another guy. So she really was the ringleader. I hate to say that about your family, but she's doing very well right now. Knock on wood. She's trying to be a forklift, and knock on wood, man. She's crazy. Okay, where was I going with this when I started off with my sister? Parents? Okay, I'm going to tell this story. Have you heard of Jenny Craig? This is a story you can Google too, because again, the cops are full. Jenny Craig is a great diet person. She's legitimate. She's not, I don't know if you remember FedFed in the early 90s. It was, everybody was doing it. I did it, Roseanne did it, we lost 100 pounds, John Goodman, Oprah. This is fucking great. It's 2 pills, one was fed and one was fed. And of course, it turns out you will die from it. But we did it until the last second, until they pulled off the fucking market. It was good. And it's legal, so why not do it? And so Jenny Craig came to Roseanne and I and offered us $10 million to lose 20 pounds. Now, I want you to think about this. Who here could not lose 20 pounds for $10 million? I know 2 fat fuckers who could not do that. And in our defense, the pressure to lose weight for that much money makes you hungry, man. And they just dropped these new Jenny Craig ice cream bars that taste just like the real ones. I was eating 30 of those for breakfast. Jenny Craig buffet at lunch. Jenny Craig buffet night. And the thing is with commercials in America, you think you could just go on TV and say, hey, I lost 20 pounds for Jenny Craig, but you can't. There's a federal law they have to fucking weigh you because of some game show scandal in the 50s. There's no shit. Like a scientist comes to your house, you can't just say and put your scale down in the living room. And I would push her up, you get up to the tip and stuff, but it wasn't where we were getting. And so I was like, God damn it, people think we're crazy, man. We could build a school with $10 billion, and we can afford to lose 20 pounds, let's be honest. Let's do this. Husband and wife diet, 24/7. I'd like your sponsor, you're my sponsor. Let's tough love each other and get this weight on. And we bump fists. And then the next day, I came in from the studio, and I walked into our kitchen, big island there. She's sitting at the island, finishing off a giant bag of Jenny Craig chocolate chip cookies. And I'm like, fuck that, because I'm a sponsor. I go up there, take the cookies, throw them up against the wall, and it scared her that I did that. And there was a block of wood. I've seen a lot of kitchens with like 8 different sized knives in it. And when I did that, it scared her. And so she pulls up a knife, and she's like, and I see that, and I'm like, hey, you're not going to stab me. Okay, you are going to stab me. She stabbed me. I'm sure that people have been stabbed by their wives in here. I'm just going to tell you, you probably don't talk about it on stage. She's like, and it's funny, if we were married 40 years, I said, hey, remember 40 years ago when you stabbed me? That's a great story. Anyway, so she stabbed me and fucked up my skinny shirt, and then as I get off into that relationship, I think, okay, what do we do now? And I'm going to tell you, if you call 911 for any reason, think about what you're going to say before you talk to them, because they record your calls, and you will hear it on the news. So I call up 911, hey, it's Tom Arnold, I'm here with Roseanne, and she was eating a big bag of Jenny Craig chocolate chip cookies. I'm like her sponsor, so I took it away and scared her. She stabbed me. And so how do we handle this? The cops are singing that shit. I go, I'll tell you what, we'll handle it in-house. It's fine. And, she felt terrible. I also felt terrible that I surprised her. Everybody's, plenty of blood to go around. And we stitched it up. I'll show you my scar later. And, but Jenny Craig, it turns out, and again, you can Google this, she didn't think it was hilarious because she heard on the news and she fired us because that wasn't the branding that they were looking for in their person. Jenny Craig, you will be so hungry, you will stab your husband. We thought it was hilarious. So we did not get $10 million to lose 20 pounds. And I'll tell you this, I'm going to tell you the last story. And a tattoo saved my life. I have some tattoos, I just got my kids. By the way, don't get your wives or boyfriends or fucking something that's not going to be there. Get your kids or your football team. That's my advice. But I had my first divorce. It was 1994, and it was Valentine's Day. And we've been having a lot of issues. And I thought, I'm going to throw a Hail Mary on this marriage. It's Valentine's. I'm going to do something very special. And I had a tattoo artist who we talked. One of the guys here that knows him, because we ended up buying his tattoo place on Sunset. He came over to the house, and for 7 hours, he put a tattoo of Roseanne's face from my nipple to my collarbone. Be careful, tattoos on the collarbone or nipple hurt like shit, man. And so I get this tattoo, and my idea is she'll walk in the door from work, and I go, honey, I just wanted to tell you how much I love you, and show her that, and she'd go, oh my God, I love you too, why are we fighting? But here's what happened in real life. She walked in the door and I go, honey, I just want to tell you how much she goes, you're an asshole, just kept walking. And I thought, oh fuck. Now I'm an asshole with a fucking giant Roseanne tattoo. I mean, there's no bigger asshole. Holy shit, why the fuck did I do that? And you could Google that, Google Tom Arnold, worst tattoo ever, and you'll see me going, hey, look at this fucking tattoo. And in my defense, she had a tattoo on her ass, this is not a lie, that said property of Tom Arnold, which made me the 4th largest property owner in California. I don't know. She did have that tattoo on her ass. But then it took me a year and a half to get this thing. But when she was stabbing me, it was still on. And I think I could see in her eyes, she's like, I don't want to stab over here because I don't want to fuck up my beautiful face. But I will stab him here. I'm going to tell you, if you're going to get stabbed, get on this side of your chest. Because your heart and shit over here. So that tattoo, as embarrassing as it was, I feel like it saved my life. But anyway, let me just say, Sasha, we've had a long day, me and these folks. Haven't we? And you have. Is there anything I should...
Tell them about Heart.
What's that?
The chicks in your town that had a band called Heart.
Oh, that's something. You just seem like this little... My girlfriend, I had a band
which was great fun in my town. And my girlfriend Ann and her friend Nancy started a band. And we used to call it Fart. I mean, that's really rude because Ann and Nancy Wilson, they fucking, she broke up with me, she hated me. Actually, she broke up with me right before the prom. And she's like, oh, I guess I'll go with you. Like, it was fucking, I think she dated her brother. She had a new stepbrother from Colorado, and he was big time. I think she was dating him. So I guess I'll go with you. And that feeling, like, fuck that. And that's the thing I learned right there. But I kept screwing up. And my best advice on marriage, don't marry someone that hates you. I know you think. There's a lot of us guys like, I can take my way out of this shit, you know. I can do, but just don't. You can't. And even my last wife, I thought, one of the charms of her was her biting sense of humor, just always criticizing me and fighting. It takes guts to do that. And then I realized after about 6 months, oh my God, she has no sense of humor. She just hates me. She's just very mean. And I'll tell the last story because she might be this. When you know how you big time people. I mean, I haven't had a date in 6 years. I'm not even kidding. I mean, part of it's like I want to get. You get divorced 3 times and still go, yeah, those crazy bitches. You get divorced 4 times, you go, maybe it's me. Maybe I got to figure this shit out. And I don't have my A game because now you meet somebody they got like kids. You got to meet mom in the parking lot of school, and you don't have the big money, and you kind of want to get your shit together and do it. But I have been known to showboat. My second ex-wife, who's very sweet, by the way, reached out. I met her. Rosanna got a divorce. A month later, I meet this 21-year-old college student, and Rosanna was 7 years older than me, so I meet her at a party at the Viper Room. First time she'd been to LA, still lived at home with her mom, went to Eastern Michigan, and I met her and I go, no, that's what, see, I've been doing it all wrong. That's what I need to be. Yeah. And of course it was just not quite as bad, but it was bad. So my last ex-wife, when I met her, she was working, she was a home office organizer or something, and I got her a job with Courtney Love, and this is Courtney Love, 2008, and she was fucked up, but she was great to work for as an organizer because you had to work nights, and I know Courtney Love for a long time. You work nights, and then she fucks it all up during the day, and you come back and get paid again, and she made a lot of money redoing the stuff that she fucked up, and I actually came home from Courtney's house one night, and she was like shaking. And I go, what's going on? She goes, I don't want to tell you. I go, what the fuck is going on? And she goes, well, Courtney got me in the corner of the closet and yelled at me and then said, I can fuck your boyfriend anytime I wanted to. I go, are you fucking kidding? So I call up Courtney and I go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you fucking say that to her? You're fucking a lunatic. And we start talking. And I know that my ex-wife said, that made her feel good that I had her back. And then Courtney's like, God damn it, Tom, I'm so sorry. Hey, I was just thinking about you. I want you to play my stepdad in my movie. I go, whoa, you got a movie going? And then I started dying. And then my ex went to sleep for 6 hours and got up, and I was still talking to Courtney Love about that fucking movie. I know that's shady. I know that's no good. I know that's, but we're all kind of. But anyway, all my ex-wives tried to have kids with me. And I have very low sperm count. I'm going to just put that very low. And I learned that in college at the University of Iowa. I worked at the hospital school. And I used to go to work and they'd have a sign, donate blood, $7. Back in the day. Back when they had nickel beer. So that was donate plasma, $7. And I used to do it too often. Like I was lightheaded most of the time. But you do that. I came in one day and said, donate sperm, $35. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. Because up until this point, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Thank God, that's how God works. God's like, here's the thing. And so I get my 5 roommates, we go home, I thought I can do this 3 times a day, that's $105 a day. I'd be fucking rich for college. And my 5 roommates, who are still friends to this day, go down to the University of Iowa Fertility Clinic, got busted in there. The doctor's like, slow down boys, we don't take just any yahoo here at the University of Iowa Fertility Clinic. And I was like, and he's like, we have to test your sperm first. And I'm like, well, mine is a little sticky, but I think it's like, we're fine. And so they test our sperm, and he comes back and pulls me out of the herd, and he goes, I got some bad news, Mr. Arnold. You cannot be a part of our program. And I go, oh, why is that? He said, son, you don't have enough swimmers. And I go, really? How many swimmers do I have? And he's like, 2. I go, 2? That sounds like plenty. And he's like, well, all your friends have 2 million each. I'm going to give it to you straight, you'll never get a woman pregnant the normal way. So I was disappointed about the $35, but it was also like part of my calling card now. At bar time, everybody go out this walking ball, and you go up to women, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you heard, but I can't get you pregnant. I just want to put that as a positive. Worst thing is I sweat on you and give you a staph infection. But I just want you to know, if you were worried about that. But then I got married, and I wanted a family when I was 30. And I didn't want to do eat in vitro, IVF, because that puts all the pressure on the woman. I wanted to use a sperm donor or adopt, because if you see the DNA in my family, you're like, yeah, I'm not going to fight for that. I'll do whatever it takes to become a father. And by the way, Shaquille O'Neal was my next door neighbor the whole time playing for the Lakers. So let me tell you something about him. He made beautiful children, and he made a lot of them. And in Iowa, when you grow up, if you want to borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbor, you go over there, hey, neighbor, can I get a cup of sugar? They're like, hell yeah, stop. And I had those cups in the fertility clinic. I'm like, I gotta fucking sack up and go get a cup of Shaq over here, man. I love having some adult lifestyle, man. I wouldn't be working on this Friday night, I'll tell you that. But they all, and to the credit, Roseanne wanted to try that way. We tried 6 times, failed. And then my next wife, saved 6 times, failed. And then my next wife, 8 times. Like it was 20 times. And that's expensive. And it's a lot of, but each of my first 3 wives got married immediately, thank God, because you don't want to feel like you ruined their bodies, and had babies the normal way. And sometimes they were doing that, a little bit of overlap in our relationship, but you know how you root for the people you're with, and my first divorce, we both knew it wasn't working, but I was waiting for her to pull the trigger. Nobody wants to be a bad guy. And I remember I got a call from this guy from the National Party saying, Ben, I hired this big fucking bodyguard. And I sent it to the Mossad Bodyguard School. She goes, yeah, Ben, they're over in Sardinia holding hands. And I'm like, shit, man, I got to see this. So I get my brother. I go, we got to see this. Once I see it, then it's, So I get over to Rome on the way to Sardinia. We get one bodyguard, because who knows, Sardinia is Wild West over there. A cop who has one gun. A captain, off-duty captain of the police force. We land in Sardinia. My brother and I's plan is this: we're going to go to our hotel there and just relax for a little bit. She's up on top of the bluff. I was supposed to be there originally, but she's up there. We'll go see her after we get set. As soon as we leave the Sardinia airport, our car gets surrounded by cars and guys with Uzis are like, she wants to see you. I go, I guess we're going to go see her now. So we go up there, and again, you can Google this because the guy from the Inquirer that called me and told me she was doing it was there and taking pictures and from afar. And so I go up there, and it's her and him and their bodyguards, and I'm like, hey, are you in bed fucking? And she looks down and goes, no. But I knew they were, and I was so fucking relieved. I'm like, okay. And then I walk by fucking Big Ben, and I don't care. He's fucking my wife, so I gotta make some kind of fucking move on him. And he was scared, but shockingly. So we get out of there, and I feel like, okay, she's got somebody, she's fine. And our bodyguard's like, hey, women don't treat people, men like that in our culture. I go, it's fine, no, she's fine. And, we can do something. I go, no, you can't, not gonna do anything to her, and my brother's like, well, what would you do to him? And he goes, well, for $50,000, when they landed in Rome, we planted drugs on him, and he would be in prison in Italy the rest of his life. And I go, see, no, that doesn't work, because I know that I go back with her. I feel sorry for her. Her buddy's in prison. I go back with her. And then my brother pulls out $10,000. He goes, what would you do to it for $10,000? And so when they landed in Rome coming back, 8 cops just tackled his big fucker, take him down, full body cavity search, and they missed their flight, and they're mad at each other. I thought that was enough. I think that's it's illegal what I did, but it was pretty satisfying. So my 4th ex-wife, I say, I'm not doing in vitro. We're going to, I'm not putting you through it. She's like, why don't I hold your past against you? Bullshit. I feel you're holding it against me. We got to try it. So she and I tried it. 3 times, and it didn't work. Very, very sad, by the way. And so I'm like, okay, let's adopt. Let's do this thing. And we went to say goodbye to the fertility doctor, this guy, Dr. Richard Bars up there at Bremen, who's brilliant. And we went to kind of close our account, and we're sitting there talking to him, and she's crying. She's very sad about it. And, you know, nothing makes you more scared than a person you love crying, right? Because you're like, holy fuck, I gotta fix that. And even if I didn't do it, I gotta fix it so I can read the newspaper or whatever. It makes you nervous. And then I said, doctor, you know what, it's too bad the woman always has to suffer. I said, when science catches up and there's something you can do to the man, I'll be back in here and we'll try it again. He's like, actually, Tom, there is something I'd like to try on a man. And I see her looking at me. I go, well, what is that? He goes, well, I was thinking I could make an incision in your scrotum and pull your testicles out of there and take a needle and just take it, stick it right in there in case it's your tubing that's fucked up. And I'm like, holy shit. Hey, come here, fucker, run that shit right in the goddamn hall, okay? Because my wife said, you do that for us, sonny? Will you? And I go, you goddamn right I will. I'm going to have a surgery. I know it's not going to work. Completely wasted, worthless, painful surgery just to prove that I am in this as much as you. And then, but also, to be honest, for a person in recovery, surgery is a snow day. Because before they cut your nutsack, they're like, and now we're going to give you something to relax you. And you're right. You fucking right you are, man. Anyway, they came back and found one sperm. This is a true story. She had one egg. They put them together, started multiplying. And 9 months later, my son was born. That's a miracle. Now, I know, it's like, I'm so grateful. And then my daughter, we were together. And my ex-wife said, I hear that this Tyler Henry Hollywood medium wants you to be on his show. And would you please do that so I could get a reading from him? Like she believes in all the psychics and stuff. I was skeptical. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be nice. And well, first of all, I go, what is a medium? He talks to dead people. I go, holy shit, on TV? She goes, yeah. And I thought, well, let's just do that. And Tyler Henry, by the way, is this very sweet young guy. And he comes over. And first of all, he does something. He walks to my house and goes like this. Your mother is here, and she is sorry. Which you could say at almost anybody's house. It's like an evergreen. And at the end, he does the psychic stuff. This is on camera. Like TV's, there's some bullshit on TV, some fake reality show. But this is on camera. He goes, do you have any psychic questions? I go, yeah, I do. Are we going to have any more kids? You know, we are not together in any way. And it's physiologically impossible. And he scratches on paper and goes, yes. And I'm like, okay, I got this guy. Now I'm going to put my boot on his neck. I go, is it going to be a boy or a girl? And he's like, a girl. And now she doesn't even believe it. Like, I walk in the door, very nice to him. And then she says something that I've never heard her say. She goes, you're right, he's full of shit. My spine just tingled just then, because it's the only time I've ever heard it. I wanted to go, yeah, I told him. I went, oh, I'm sorry. I was hoping to get, 3 days later, 72 hours later, I get a call at my office from a cryo bank in Long Beach. What the fuck is Long Beach? Which one? And they're like, we're trying to find your business manager. You owe us $700. I go, why? We have a frozen embryo from the one time you went to that other doctor. It's been down here 4 years. And I go, holy shit. And then I tell her, she gets in the car, to her credit, drives down there like 100 miles an hour, doesn't take all the hormones they take, put that little ICU bumper hoo-ha, and 9 months later my daughter was born. So I was 0 for 23, and I'm 2 for 2, so watch out. So that's a nice thing. My daughter has never seen her mother and I hug like as she was growing up. She'd say, Daddy, because Disney, they have a king and queen, prince and princess, and she wanted to know how she got there. And so I made this, because I'm gracious as hell, this whole animation of her mom and I are up here, our mom and I were way far apart, but we're up here with one goal, and that's to find you. How we do it? I did all this stuff. And I have to say about, again, people, when I had my son, they're like, it's too bad you didn't have a daughter. I go, I could not love anybody any more than my son. Well, you love the girls different too. You know, there's different, it's great that I had both because, and my daughter really has changed my life. When she was 18 months old, I hosted a thing for Music Cares, a concert at the whatever theater, the Fonda Theater, or somewhere, because there were a lot of sober people, rock and roll guys, and playing. And I came home, I was feeling pretty good. You know, the kids, a babysitter left, and I went to my office, which I used to do all the time. Go in there, get on that internet, fucking hours like that, you know, because of my ADHD, and just kind of chill. And after a couple minutes, I looked down at my 18-month-old daughter standing here. She got all the way from upstairs. I don't know how she did it. There's a gate. She's standing there. She goes, "Come to bed, Daddy." I go, "Hey, I'll tell you what, why don't you go to bed? I will be up there in 5 minutes. I promise." And then I turned around to do my thing, and then she was still standing there. And I looked at her, and I realized, oh my God, she knows everything about me. Like, she knows I was lying. I didn't know I was lying. She knew I was lying. So from that point on, I don't say, I'm going to do this in 5 minutes. I say, I'll do this and I'll really think about how much time I need. 15 minutes, they'll put me on a timer on the phone, the iPhone. And then when the bell goes off, then I do whatever I said I would do, whatever game I'm going to play. And you can do it with your kids too, because they come home from school and I go, "Hey, you going to do your homework?" They're like, "Yeah, 5 minutes." I go, "Do you mean 5 minutes? Because I'm going to put you on a timer." And they go, "Okay, make it 20. And then they try to do their homework. I do most of my sons, but anyway, you guys are great, man. I'll tell you what, I appreciate this. I appreciate you guys. Sasha, any final notes? Poor Sasha. She did. When she came working for us 4 years ago, she was like, "I feel bad. My sister has a kid." And then after a while with my kids, she's like, "I don't feel bad. I'm not gonna, this is enough." So I appreciate her. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.